have had somebody be like, oh, I don't want to be with that person, like we can't talk. And it's like, yeah, you probably can feel that way, but if y'all committed to stay together, y'all just gotta, sometimes you might gotta wait for your spouse to grow in certain areas, and you know, and then eventually y'all might meet again. But you know, you two different people, and you're trying to, like, you know, and we just did it at a young age where both of us didn't even know who we were, like, you know, we was kids, so we had to literally grow up together with a child. And you know, we stuck it out, and we sticking it out.
And then I would say one thing that's probably key is, like, just the truth. What would help you check yourself in a situation is understanding that you literally, I am in a relationship. I am married to her mind, like the way she thinks. She is married to my mind, the way I think. And so if I understand that I'm in a relationship with her mind, the way she thinks, then I can make it a goal to constantly be working on my mind and the way I think, like, and that helps y'all resolve stuff. There was a time we had to kind of figure out, okay, we are miscommunicating. We are not communicating in an effective way. We just going at it. None of this is effective. Like, and so we have to say, all right, so let's start to communicate effectively. Mm-hmm. What works? Well, this is what works for me. This is what doesn't, whatever. Like, that kind of stuff is just doing the work, man. Doing the work is if there's a secret.
How do y'all unwind after a long day? I'll let him answer first. He got longer days, maybe than me.
Just getting home. I like to be home. Once I'm here, just stopping, dropping everything, kind of like intense, getting that day off my back. You know what I'm saying? Kind of kicking in the dad mode, kicking in the husband mode, sitting down for a minute. I might have to close my eyes for a little while some day. Like, I kind of leave the day at the door, if you will.
Whatever I feel like doing. If I'm not sleepy, I might stay downstairs while everybody is asleep, watch TV, eat snacks that I hide from the kids. You know, if I want to go take a long hot shower, you know, that's what I do. Just
hot scolding.
We got little shows we like to watch together, so yeah, that's kind of just how we unwind. Nothing too special. How do you keep the spark?
I think, again, with the spark thing, you can get over into fantasizing. But for the reality part of it, I think you kind of got to, like, be the spark. If y'all kind of understand what's sparky for each other, like for us, I think a big thing that is sparky for us is progress, getting somewhere. Like, it is very unsexy to just be stagnant in life. You know, when the machine is kind of running how it's supposed to, and we're able to kind of be good teammates and throw alley-oops with the kids and with work and bills and everything like that. When things kind of go smoothly, it's easier to be a little sparky.
If you feel like, you know, you the only one, you know, running the machine, if you both have an understanding of, you know, what part this person both playing a part well, like, you know, I feel like that's the turn on, or, you know, that's the spark that, you know.
And then from there, you just kind of like, you for us, I'll say, for us.
Yeah, this is all us.
Once the stage is set for sparks, things is going how they're supposed to go or whatever, we kind of be the spark. You kind of get it where you can. We carve it out where we can carve it out. Like, you know, be spontaneous and things. And then the little stuff along the way, just having respect for each other and all that little stuff that kind of builds up.
It says, how do you guys keep the marriage exciting?
Well, exciting, I think what's keeping your life exciting. Mm-hmm. Whatever that may mean for you, I think for us, you would agree that it's like getting somewhere, delighting in God, you know what I'm saying? Learning, growing, seeing progress, seeing, you know, what we put in our kids come out of them, seeing what we put in ourselves come out of us, bills being paid, you know, that kind of stuff. Like, progress is exciting, and then, you know, it kind of makes way for everything else. We get to do things different. Like, our kids is growing up totally different from how we grew up, and it's exciting to me.
Yeah, in the house with their mama and their daddy.
Exactly. They got, you know, two parents loving God, loving each other. You know, that's exciting.
How do you find time for you and your husband? We find it where we find it, okay? That's where we find it. And it's not like, oh my gosh, we got it. Like, you know, this is the season we in. Like, our kids ain't gonna be this small forever, you know.
No.
What makes a good wife / husband?
What makes a good wife?
Who am I to define what makes a good wife?
Let's just use the word spouse then real quick.
What makes a good spouse?
I think a good person makes a good spouse. Like,
there you go.
Like make the situation bigger than you. When it's not just all about us, everything is not to benefit me. Some things are going to solely be for the benefit of my spouse. Other things are going to solely be for the benefit of us both. Being a great person who's like a healthy, growing, mentally stable individual.
It's like, no, y'all get together and y'all build.
Yeah, can y'all get together? Somebody good to be around. Like at the end of the day, me and her is two individuals that like to be around each other. Like if you just a jerk,
It ain't always been like that.
there's times we ain't like to be around each other. Times we ain't like each other. But
A lot of couples become great after weathering a huge storm. Has there been a huge storm that you two have come through? Yes.
definitely.
Very much so.
Right.
Or has there been a time your marriage came back from the brinks? Yes.
Yes. Very much so.
The storm was about what, like three or four years ago. Yeah, not too long ago. I mean, it was a weird time. I can't give you a reason as to why. Like nobody did nothing. We just got to a place, I think, where we weren't here. You know, it was like not seeing eye to eye on certain things, probably not communicating effectively, and you know, I just got to the place where I felt like he wasn't hearing me, and so I threw out the words, I want a divorce. Or yeah, after I said them, you know, I wish I wouldn't have said them, and that goes back to checking your emotions, you know?
It's kind of good that came out. And I think one thing people need to understand, because people will say you're never supposed to talk about divorce or divorce is not an option. Now, get to the reality of things that
sometimes that
divorce is an option. It is an option. It is not the best option, but it's an option. And so I think in facing the reality that divorce is an option, if you want your situation, if you want your marriage, then you're gonna work. And it was a weird time. Our old marriage, our old situation, all that stuff just had to die. We had to really come anew. You know, we kind of rose out the ashes. The rest of that stuff was like had to burn down. I think God did it because everything had to be new, and it is now.
Like it was a long process too. It was like some months going back and forth, and you know, not really knowing. It'd be 1 week we're like, all right, yeah. And then next day it's like, wait,
hold on,
wait a minute, like up and down. Like he was sleeping on the couch by choice, you know. We was taking days with the kid, you know, started to like almost operate as if we were separated.
Yeah, it was whack, but it was needed. Here. It was necessary. Like, so answer that question is it happened.
Yes.
But we're here and we're great. Did we talk about that?
No, that was How Did I Know You Was
the one.
I don't need no one, baby.
You want to
go? How did I know? I just knew. Like I just always knew that he's just gonna be, you know, a great man, great provider, good dad, good husband. He ain't perfect, but nobody is. I don't know, I just knew.
Yeah. And I think too that it's also what you make. In other words, how did you come to the place of saying I'm gonna marry this person? For me, I guess from when you experience a lot of nonsense early in life, I just kind of had this sense of like what was wrong in the world, do right in my world. Around the time we got married, I just was really on some like trying to be a man stuff. And I don't know if it was like a complex I had growing up without a dad. My little quest for manhood was real. I was serious about it. I was watching this movie and Cicely Tyson was saying something about, she was like getting on the young people at the barbecue or whatever it was. And she was saying, young men, take your place. And I just took that as on some like just manhood stuff at that time. Amaya was how?
Hey, was this during our little like split?
Yeah,
Oh, so she was probably like 5 months.
5 months or whatever. And
Because we split prior to us
we
getting
split.
married. It wasn't that long, but
Yeah,
we split.
but we was teenagers really, and I just really was on some like, man, like I got this baby. I have this young lady who I had this baby by, who I love. It's like, well, and I'm trying to be a man. Like I don't want to play games. I've seen too much of that, and so it's like, well, why not get us a shot? Let's kind of build what we never had. Let's make something of it, and we made something of it.
And then it said, did you or do you have any fears or resentment? The fears I probably had before getting married was just, you know, a little insecurity about not knowing how to actually like be a good wife. That kind of was the only like real fear that I had, and again, it was like learning on the job. So you know, I just had to get my feet wet and go for it.
I don't know if I was like even thinking enough to have fear. I was just like, look, we got to do life. So I didn't have any fears other than maybe just repeating what I had seen in life already up until that point. I think that was probably my fear, not doing nothing with my life. So
do you or did you have any resentments?
I just resented what I came from, no resentment from my wife. You know? Remember, we said we was split, and so upon us getting back together at that time, I didn't necessarily propose to her. It was kind of a conversation, like, look, let's do this then. Like, let's get married. It was that kind of a thing. She talking about how I never got on like one knee or nothing like that.
Do it right now.
And it wasn't.
I just get it.
It wasn't just on some like I ain't doing that type thing. It just wasn't a situation. I had a real conversation about life at the time, and out of that conversation came us, you know, all right, let's get married then. So I still to this day, what she's talking about is I've never got down on one knee and said, will you marry me? But
why you gotta say it like that?
That's how you want me to say it, like cornball like that.
No, I don't.
But yeah, that's what she's talking about. So I've never officially proposed to her. Just like I said, not on purpose. That just was the situation. We was going through real life at the time.
Okay, so I think that's all the questions. This is somebody just commented in one of the stories, and she said, "I know you asked for questions, but I have to tell you, I am so proud of you in BC. Against all odds, against the negativity people spoke over you, you are a growing family in a time where it doesn't make sense, and that is attributed to our God, our Father. I think she meant to say, as long as we have our faith and trust in Him, all things are possible. Keep up the good work. Love you."
Yeah. All facts.
And then too, like what she said, like negativity people spoke over you. Yeah, you know, watch who you allow, you know, speaking in your life. Like, look at their results, because you know, when you begin to just allow people to speak into your life because of who you think they are, like really just pay attention to who you allow. And that's where we've gotten, and we've had to, you know, get to the place where it's like, it's this me and you, you know, we get advice where we may need it if we need it, but like for the most part, it ain't really much that we can't like sit down and just talk about between the two of us. And it ain't always been that way. So if you do need somebody like, you know, outside to help you navigate through the stuff,
at some
just
point,
be careful.
At some point, you're gonna need some people to learn from, but be intentional and pay attention to who you quote unquote learning from. Because some people, it's not what it looked like. You know what I'm saying? You got to really look at the fruit. Do I want your results? Do you want the results of that person or those people in whatever area it is? Because you just be intentional about who you looking up to, getting advice from, and all that. Like, yeah, don't let a whole bunch of people in your stuff.
And this is just us speaking from experience, or you know what works for us. You know, don't take this as like, you know, we're speaking like in general.
But that
we're
was
answering them. But
thank you for that. Right
thank
there,
you. We appreciate it.
And it's definitely by God that we still here.
Definitely.
But here comes our 5-year-old, and I think we should wrap this up now because she don't know what to do with herself no more. So
peace.